Okay, so now that, dear children, now that you know that one of the important process of the plant, do you know what is how does plant prepare as food? The process name is called photosynthesis. Where does we get from the food? The majority of food is derived from plant only. Plant is one of where synthesis is put. The process name is called photosynthesis. Now, what are the chapter or here? It is known that it is the important chapter of photosynthesis because these plant as synthesis by own food with the help of the sunlight. This is called autotrophism. What do you mean plant physiology? It is a Greek word. Physis, it is derived from Greek word. Nature of origin. Logy is nothing but it is a study of nature of origin. Study of nature of origin. This is called physiology, especially in study of internal organ and the organ system, especially based on the tissue function also. This is called plant physiology. Now, what are the chapter are outlined here? The first is what is mean by photosynthesis? What is the definition of photosynthesis? Where does occur in photosynthesis? Where does this photosynthesis occur? There is a specialized part of the green plant. The name is called green plant. It is called leaf. Leaf we are called as a kitchen of the plant because it is by own food with the help of the sunlight. Which of the organelle they are involved by photosynthesis? There is one of the important organelle name is called a chloroplast. Here it is a green color part of the plant. Where it is located is the chloroplast. It is the green part of the plant. Which are the pigment they are involved by photosynthesis? Namely, is called a chlorophyll. It is a is also called what is a universal pigment. Now rest of the all chlorophyll A except all chlorophyll A. This is all what is this accessory pigment like chlorophyll B, C, D, carotenoid, chlorophyll, so on different type of pigment. These are all called accessory pigment. These are mainly involved by photosynthesis because of most harvesting nature. Now, what is the reaction? Which are the reaction as photosynthesis is done? Light reaction. There is essential for life. These are the reactions that happen in the region of chloroplast. Now, what are the factors as determined by the photosynthesis? Generally, biotic factor. Another one, what is this? Abiotic factor. Now, finally, how we are proved by photosynthesis? These are the many experiment are that. Which are the experiment? The name is called, you know that testing funnel experiment. Oxygen released by the photosynthesis. Even rate of photosynthesis, filament bubbler, and different, you know that carbohydrate start synthesis by light screen method. Different type of experiment are there can proved by photosynthesis. Now we will discuss one by one. What is photosynthesis? Do you know that? What is the meaning of word photosynthesis? This is also derived from Greek word. What's that is, you know that Greek word photon. Photo is derived from word of photon. Photon is nothing but it is a tiny particle of light. It is a very tiny particle of light. This is called a photon. What is the other word is called synthesis? What do you mean as a synthesis? Synthesis are meaning of Greek word to build or harvest. What is the exact meaning of photosynthesis? Yes, synthesis of food with the help of the sunlight in chlorophyll. This is called what is this? Photosynthesis. It is the exact meaning of word of the photosynthesis. What is the definition of photosynthesis? Do you know that carbon dioxide is the raw material in water? Carbon dioxide is converted into carbohydrate or glucose in presence of sunlight. What is this? Definition of carbon dioxide is converted into carbohydrate in presence of light in chlorophyll. This is called what is the photosynthesis. Now, what is the other what is the other process why we called as a different way of photosynthesis? Now, this is what is it? It is the organic substances synthesis with bloom. Where in organic substances, did you know that it is the organic substances? It is the inorganic substances. Organic substances as produced from inorganic substances. This is otherwise called what is the photosynthesis. What happen? Physiochemical process. This is otherwise called what is this? Physiochemical process. Why should be called as a physiochemical process? Do you know that? It is a chemical, there are involved physiological process. This is called a physiochemical process, otherwise called a phytochemical process. These are otherwise called a phytochemical process. Now, it is a anabolic process. What is meant by anabolic process? Do you know the anabolic process? It is a building up process. What is a building up? All the smaller molecule, these are the smaller molecule, is converted into larger molecule. This is why we are called as a build up process. Do you know that in our wall is a wall of this one of many number of bricks are made? That's why all the smaller molecule, which are the smaller molecule, the name is called a carbon dioxide and water. Then converted into what are the larger molecule? Carbohydrate. This is a process which is called anabolic process. Now, next other. What is the other way we are told is? It is a redox reaction. What is the redox reaction? Do you know that? Reduction and oxidation done in the same event. This is called a redox reaction. What is the reduction? What is the oxidation? Do you know is easy mnemonic identification are there? Leo, Pantheroleo. What is the meaning of Pantheroleo? It is the binomial name of Pantheroleo. Lion. Lion says as how to say zer. This you know that easily we are finding a redox reaction. What is the loss of electron by oxidation? Gain of electron by reduction. This is the process called a reduction and oxidation done in the same event, known as otherwise called a photosynthesis. Now, which are reduced? Carbon dioxide is reduced into water. Carbohydrate. Loss of electron, gain of electron as reduced into which are the carbon dioxide. Now, which one is oxidized? Loss of electron by oxidation. Which one is oxidized? Water oxidized into is produced oxygen. Now the same event involved by the single process is called a redox reaction. Clear? Now what is this other way? It is otherwise called a endergonic process. Why should we call it a photosynthesis endergonic process? Because it's a synthesis energy process. Synthesis of energy. This process called what is this? Endergonic process. Now, otherwise we are called a what is the carbon assimilation? It is a carbon assimilatory process. Why should we call a photosynthesis a carbon assimilatory process? Because carbon is contained atmospheric more in number. Each carbon is converted into many things like a plant pots, like root, stem. They are stored many carbon substances like a carbohydrate, like what are there is a different type of carbon stored in the component. Now that each carbon can be assimilatory, this is process called a carbon assimilatory process. Do you know when you tie on the plants? After the tie on the plant, we can find the age of the plants. You know that is the old plant, which one is the largest, or maybe is a old age plant. We find a fossil, we can find here how much year of the plants can be, which are the duration of living the plant. We can find a fossil study with help of the carbon assimilatory process. We know that carbon 14 is method. It's a carbon radioactive minerals is just correct extra age of the fossil plant. These are the other process or otherwise called photosynthesis. Now I will tell you one by one. What is the photosynthesis? It is a nothing but what is the it is the meaning of photosynthesis. The word meaning by photon. Photon is derived from Greek word. Did you know that what is the photon? It is a tiny particle of light. What is the synthesis? It is a harvest or build which are built by food. This is called what is this? Photosynthesis. What is the definition? Do you know the definition? It is a carbon dioxide is converted into carbohydrate in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. This is called a photosynthesis. It is otherwise called light energy then converted into what has happened? Life energy. It is otherwise called photosynthesis. The light energy became to converted into what? Life energy. And radiant energy is became to converted into what? Chemical energy. This is otherwise called photosynthesis. Solar energy is converted into what is this? Chemical energy. This is called what is the photosynthesis. There is a different way of where it is gone. Now, carbon dioxide is what is the carbon dioxide reduced into carbohydrate at the time of US gain is a many energy because it's a synthesis of energical process. Do you know it's a carbon dioxide smaller molecule? It is converted into larger molecule. It is otherwise called what is this? Anabolic process. Now, in water there are oxidized into given out which one is the oxygen. Oxygen is essential for our life because we are is breathe. We are breakdown of food. We are best method for we are is converted into aerobic respiration because the oxygen is essential. The only aerobic organism is essential for organism. What is undergoing process? Do you know that? This is a synthesis of energy. This is called the undergoing process. Now come to finally, this is a carbon assimilatory process. Why should we call it as a carbon assimilatory process in photosynthesis? Yes, it's good because they know that all the carbon get assimilatory by the various component of part of the plant. That's why we find in a age of the calculation of the plant. This is okay. Now we will discuss another one more video. What is the which organelle can involved by photosynthesis? Thank you. Do you have any doubt? Please comment.